very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm here, me, Adeba. Well, on the show tonight, we will be talking about the Niger Delta Sports Festival. We will also, be looking at the aftermath of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Some teams have booked their spots at next year's World Cup. We'll look at all of that. We'll also talk about things happening on the domestic scene. We'll look at the guys, the women, talk about the leagues, the domestic leagues. And of course, we'll do our best to also spare some time for some of the things happening abroad. And of course, there'll be a focus on the Super Eagles and of course, what can still come out of their quest to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That's the outlook of the show tonight. Sit back, relax, as we take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. Let me quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Damilola Onifade joins us on the show tonight. Greetings, Damilola. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Yeah, it's my pleasure being here. About 48 hours after the Super Eagles performance against Zimbabwe, I hope many people are recovering. But it is what it is. We'll continue pushing until it's over.
All right, it is what it is. We're not starting with the Super Eagles just yet because that's a conversation that will surely take some time. We hope to start differently on the show tonight. And of course, we want to talk about the Niger Delta Sports Festival. At some point, we're hoping that Olympic gold medalist Enefiok Obong will join us. But Damilola, let me get your thoughts. Niger Delta Sports Festival. Let me just quickly get your thoughts as we go to join our guest, who, by the way, is ready. But let me just quickly get your thoughts on what you have heard, what you have seen of the Niger Delta Sports Festival.
I think it's a good development to have a regional multi-sport event like that. And the immediate impact, I mean, from the top of my head, I can just give you two. Number one is facilities. It will lead to building more facilities, developing and engaging the ones that we have to be in good shape. That's one. Number two is also talent discovery, and also ensuring that the talents are not just discovered, they're engaged, they're developing, and then you're taking advantage of as they grow in the sport and they are learning more. And so I see plus all over. But then a lot also has to do with continuity and the interest that we engender as time goes on with some of these events. We are not necessarily short of these events. It's usually the way we manage them and the way we follow up with them after the first edition or so.
All right. Of course, joining us on the show tonight, Olympic gold medalist, like I said, Enefiok Obong. He is the chairman of the technical committee of the Niger Delta Sports Festival. Greetings, Enefiok. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Hey, good evening, good evening. I'm very glad to be here. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right. I mean, from what I've been hearing and from what my colleague just said, everybody has been giving thumbs up to the organizers in terms of preparations. A lot of kudos going their way in terms of preparations, in terms of facilities. And from where you stand, without necessarily blowing your trumpet, but from where you stand, do you agree with all the reviews, the assessments, and what you've seen? As a matter of fact, in your picture, you're seeing the chairman of the main organizing committee. He also echoed those views as well. So from where you stand, do you agree with all of those assessments?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a marvelous development. Like I said, it's something that has brought some economic excitement, that has brought youth coming together, that has brought new wave of expectations within the population, and especially in not just Niger Delta states, especially in a state like Akwa Ibom State, which is the inaugural host state. People are looking forward to it. People are excited at seeing multi-sport events coming around. Facilities are being upgraded. And the facilities are within communities. We have facilities in secondary schools. We have facilities from the International Gospel Public Stadium to the West Etiam secondary schools, sports center, and everything. So facilities all around are being developed. And as we go around, children are happy, their parents are happy, teachers are happy. Everybody just having a feel of excitement. We really, really hope that it will be a great festival at the end of the day.
Okay, as somebody who has a high for talent, we're looking at athletes aged between 16 to 25 and of Niger Delta heritage will be competing. We also know that 3,000 athletes across 17 sports will be participating. So as somebody that has a high for talent, how easy will it be to, get the best from these athletes? And, just like my colleague here said, we are not in shortage of this kind of competitions, tournaments, but harnessing, nurturing them to stardom. So for some of us, the question will now be, yes, stars will be discovered. Does it all end here?
Now, interestingly, it doesn't. So that's where this is quite different from all other festivals in which we have been participating. The sponsors have been very, very deliberate in making sure. The sponsors have been very deliberate in making sure that there is a legacy. That post-festival, what do we do when we get this talent together? It's not just saying let's get talent and we are talking about. There are actually numerous talents. We started these events by opening up a trial period for talents across the 9 states, across the central district and local governments. And we had over 19,000 registrations. People were coming, people that have never competed on international field, people that have competed, some of them not gone too far. They all came together from the local government to compete in this. And then with this, from here, we got a few athletes to come together for a state zonal finals. And these ones have been selected, about 3,000 of them, to participate at the festival. Now, these athletes are going to compete after the competition. After the competition, we do have the Niger Delta Development Commission set up sponsorship and mentoring committee that picks up talent, not necessarily winners, talents, people that are good, people that we see that have potential. We have lots of foreign athletes, we have lots of ambassadors, we have lots of people with an eye, coaches that have an eye for talent. All the serious talents, we are going to bring them together. They're going to make sure that they can put them up together, plan and train for them, expose them, develop them, expose them. And over the years, we hope and we believe that these talents will nurture and do well for the country in the future. So it's a grand plan. It's not a one-off competition. And even if we had a one-off competition, the competition that all states around the nation, we are competing in sports that are not just glamorous. We have entries, over 1,000 of entries from canoeing. People that are using a local canoes and local boats decide to come, and they will be exposed very well when they see themselves in international and kayaks and yachts and everything competing. We have amazing entries from volleyball, from handball, from, of course, the big sports, obviously athletics and football have massive entries. But then, all sports around, the initial festival starts with 17 sports, and the enthusiasm, the interest in all these sports has been amazing. And as a technical head, I was pleasantly surprised that we are not just a sport of football, and I heard you make reference to the World Cup. If we, God forbid, miss out on the World Cup, we are not going to be missing out on a lot of sports because a lot of kids here are very, very much interested and are very much working in other sports. And we have a lot of talents, and they are going to be nurtured, they're going to be developed, they're going to be exposed, and these talents are going to do well in future.
All right. My colleague Osino Konakwan is suited and ready now. He joins us, and I'm very sure he has a few questions for Enefiok as well.
What a greetings to you, Yemi, and of course our viewers from different parts of the world. Enefiok, shout out to you and the team for the Niger Delta Sports Festival. I'm sure you know this one is dear to my heart. You landed with your last comment, you landed with the future. What's next right after this sports festival?
Well, we are hoping that the festival is going to last. We are hoping that of course, it could be an annual festival. Well, we are hoping that the Niger Delta Development Commission will see the good in this, and it's going to bring lots of positive things, lots of interest across development in terms of infrastructure, in terms of social development, in terms of talent development, in terms of new career paths for the young ones. And we know that the Niger Delta Development Commission is all about empowering the youth in the region. And we've been empowering the youth in terms of technology, in terms of education, in terms of different. And who says that we can't empower youth in sports? We know that sports is, and I'm there. I can tell you that sports is very, very empowering in terms of careers. Sports has given me my career over the last decades or so. And it's opened doors for a lot of people, and it's the easiest way in which our youth can exert the energy. We're a large population, we're a population of majority youth. This obviously is what we can do to make sure that the youth are empowered and they can do very well. So I think the next step is to sustain, to have a legacy, and to make sure that the talents we find here not left straight. And that's the plan that, like I said earlier, in place to make sure that doesn't happen.
Eni, you are big on infrastructure development, and you know so well that at the grassroots, you cannot develop if you do not have the right infrastructure in place. For this, do we have the right infrastructure?
Well, infrastructure is a problem even in the biggest of countries, in the most developed of countries. But events like this bring out the best of infrastructure. In terms of what we are doing presently, in terms of sporting infrastructure in Akwa Ibom State and in Uyo in particular, has been amazing. The swimming pool has been upgraded. Courts, tennis courts, volleyball courts have been upgraded in schools. The stadium, of course, there is much to be done because we have the almighty Super Eagles there. But even as that, the Niger Delta Development Commission has made sure that the stadium is not just a football stadium, it is also an athletic stadium. And if you go there, you will see a brand new track, shining track, and in fact, like you have said, infrastructure all the way. So once you have put the infrastructure, you have the human resource, the next thing is the sporting success. And that's what we're expecting to have when the festival begins from the 1st of April.
Thank you. Yemi?
All right. I think that's a very good place to let it land. Enefiok Obong, chairman of the technical committee of the Niger Delta Sports Festival, I want to thank you for your time. And let me also not forget to add Olympic gold medalist. Thank you for your time on the show. Hopefully we'll do this again some other time.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's move on the show tonight. And of course, we're Nigerians, it leaves a sore taste in our mouth when we talk about this, but we have a job to do on the show tonight. Damlola Onifade, quickly before I go across to the screen, first time you're here, how do you sum it up? Before this set of matches, we said it was almost impossible. Now, what it is?
It's still the same. It's still the same.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed except that the possibility of a qualification has reduced, but it's still almost impossible. So,
because you're still saying
it's still almost impossible.
that there's a chance we might still qualify?
There is a chance, but our fate is no longer in our hands because winning all our games might not be good enough anymore.
All right.
Before, we felt if we win all our games, at worst case scenario, we could finish second and then go through the playoffs. Don't forget that at some point in that 90 minutes, we were fourth, we were third, we were second, and then we finish in fourth. That's how funny it is.
That's how funny football can be.
It's quite a sad night for many Nigerians.
Yes, and I won't go down the rabbit hole of trying to ask you what happened because there's so many things you say. Also, before I go across, Hugo Bros, the coach, says that he likes the situation they're in because Nigeria will actually help them qualify. I felt insulted when I read those comments, but it is true. Nigeria has to. We were condemned to win. So all of the teams that could give South Africa some issues, we have to beat them. And even when they slip, it makes it a bit easy for them.
It is, you know, and that's a right comment because if you go check the remainder of the games, I think even two of the other teams get to play their football in South Africa, and that's advantage South Africa. And it is probably looking at the Super Eagles with their last match as good as your last game. So they deserve all of the mockery that they are getting. This is South Africa talking to us in football, you know, tells you how bad the situation is here. I mean, the NFF must find a way out of this because some way, somehow, I see management and administrative issues in there because that's what translates into players' performance. Coaching, I have said it over and over again that when you bring a new coach, you must get ready for the teething problems, you know, because he's not just going to get into the team and start doing the thing. If he does, then it goes down to players' commitment, determination. And we haven't seen that lately with this team. So I would say it's quite unfortunate that it ended 1-1 with Zimbabwe, but you cannot be playing that sort of crucial game in the qualifiers with everything that is in need for the taking, and you are comfortable with just one goal. You just can't be. And the coach wanted to change it, but he did it so late. And he came back to haunt them. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to Victor Osimhen. He gave everything he had, but you cannot, I repeat, be playing that sort of game and you're scoring just one goal. You know, the Super Eagles need to go back, and I've been seeing, they've been throwing around a lot of optimism. It's okay, Alex will be saying we'll be at the World Cup in the mighty name of Jesus. Allah not say, calm down, we're going to make it. Look, yes, it's good to keep the faith. It's good to be optimistic, but you got to do the work because faith without work is dead. And time again with these qualifiers, we've seen this team not put up the sort of work that they need to put. South Africa needed to beat Benin, and they went out there and did the job away from home. Easy peasy. That's what we're talking about. When you have an assignment, you need to set out, you know, the goals, the objective, understand the mission, and go out there and deliver. It is what it is. I mean, this team, they've not delivered. That's why they are where they are, and that's why Hugo Bros can come out with South Africa and everyone that doesn't like Nigeria and our football, and then mock the team.
All right. Man, I don't know what else to say. It was mockery. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Let me just quickly go across now and talk about this game. And the sad part, in reality, is mathematically we're still in with a shout. But on the strength of how we've played, nobody wants to get their hopes up. So let's look at it. September 1, Nigeria will take on Rwanda. South Africa takes on Nigeria. That's September 8. Lesotho against Nigeria, October 6. Nigeria against Benin Republic, October 13, 25. The remaining 4 games the Super Eagles have to play. Damilola, before we go on a break, there's this issue about fielding an ineligible player. Even if they get docked 3 points, that's scenario 1. Scenario 2, they don't get docked points. We win all our matches, we still need them to drop points. If they get docked 3 points, maybe if we win all our matches, we'll be tied. And then we'll... But those 2 scenarios, do you see the Super Eagles doing their own part?
The only way the Super Eagles will top this group, I won't deceive myself, is a collapse from South Africa. That's the only way.
Which you don't see happening?
I don't see it happening. The best bet is to keep chopping at the point and hoping that if we finish second, we'll have amassed enough points to get to the playoff. That is sad to admit, because look at this thing. I mean, Rwanda, the last time Rwanda was even here, they defeated us. And despite beating them in Kigali last week, Rwanda will still come here with the confidence that they can beat us. Why? We've not even won a game
At home.
At home during these qualifiers. So we have a very wretched form at home at this moment. And then the last game is at home against Lesotho, against Benin. By October 13th, the fate of the Super Eagles might have been decided.
May have been
that
sealed.
game might be very inconsequential
All right.
to where we're going.
Okay, I'm tempted to ask you, because but we need to go on a break. Let's go on a break. There's still so much to talk about. Some teams have booked their place. And, of course, Nigeria has to pick the pieces. So we'll see. We're looking at scenarios that could still end with Nigeria qualifying for the World Cup, even though it doesn't look good right about now. Let's go on a break. We'll return for more on Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. So we've been talking about the Super Eagles. We are also looking at scenarios that could end up with the Super Eagles qualifying for the World Cup. I mean, Austin, take a quick stab at it. Damilola has explained some of the things that could likely happen. Maybe in a minute, 2 scenarios that could happen. If indeed they get docked 3 points, all the Super Eagles will need to do will be to win all their remaining matches, and it might be enough because it will mean that they will have to go to South Africa and beat South Africa. So when it comes down to head-to-head, it will mean there are no issues. But if they don't get docked 3 points, it means that with beating South Africa, we will also expect that South Africa will drop points elsewhere. And that is a scenario that doesn't look likely.
And yeah, and that is the scenario that we have put ourselves in. You know, that's the sad situation, because if it was all about the Super Eagles winning their games, then we could say, okay, let's see how that will go. But when we now start hoping that South Africa drops a point or lose a game, then you're going out of the line of the calculation. That's so wrong, and that's why it's so difficult for the Super Eagles. We started from match day 4, and we said that they need to win their remaining 6 matches. And match day 6, you're already dropping points in your home ground, you know, and that's, you see, making this analysis is just tough. The painful thing about it is the news about the possibility of South Africa losing 3 points, came out before kickoff. Before kickoff against Zimbabwe. That's more than enough reason for you to say, okay, guys, now we know if we beat Zimbabwe and South Africa lose 3 points, then we are bossing that Group C table. That didn't happen. I mean, before anybody comes out and say, oh, they were unfortunate, this and that, go and look at that game again. I checked 3 different websites, and it had Zimbabwe bossing the game with about 56% ball possession in the first half. In the second half, right after we got our goal, they struck the woodwork, remember. Stanley Wabali made one save too. And then 90th minute, they are scoring again. It tells you that we didn't understand the mission. No, something was wrong. These guys don't know their deliverables, and they did not define the milestone, which is qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Because everything was clear. We had said it, that just face your front. Let me speak the language you understand back home. Don't look left, don't look right. You don't know South Africa, you don't know Benin Republic. Your mission is to win your remaining 6 games, and then when you are done, you can now go and have a look at the table. Where are we after winning our 6 matches? And that is now not happening. It is so, it's not pathetic, you know. It's just a shame that our football has come to this level. This is a team that missed out of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. You'd expect that right away when we start the qualifiers for 2026, we'll just start showing the intent and going all the way. We won we got to the finals of the AFCON, came back and started struggling with qualifiers that's got Benin Republic, Lesotho, Zimbabwe. Hear me? It's tough. It's sad. I hope these players, they understand what they're doing to themselves and their football. Victor Osimhen is respected. Ademola Lookman is the current African Footballer of the Year. Alex Iwobi, yes, he's been to the World Cup before, but he is playing prime football for Nigeria now. Against Zimbabwe, he made his 84th 84 appearance for Nigeria. How many is remaining to be 100? We should be seeing prime football now. Wilfred Ndidi, all of these guys, if you don't qualify for the World Cup, the next one is in 4 years' time. What will be of their football in 4 years' time? I think it's the reality check they need to have. Yes, we can come out tomorrow and say the NFF, they've got a hand in this. I've heard some people say, oh, Pizarro also started the qualifiers. Today the judge took us where we have, blah, blah. You have brought in a coach now who wants to come and be doing experiments. You want to be playing experimental football where you're supposed to be staying focused and picking tickets for the World Cup. I wanted to come and say Nigeria beat Zimbabwe 4-0 to pass a strong message to our next opponents in Zimbabwe. But this is me with hands on my cheek and shaking my head, struggling for words.
All right, let's let the words hang in the air, and those that should do what they should do, probably just listen to Austin, and a good place to leave it. But let's talk about the teams that have qualified for the World Cup. I'll go across in a bit. You already know, 3 nations co-hosting the World Cup: United States, Mexico, and Canada. Aside those countries, you also have the Blue Samurai, Japan, first team to qualify for the 2026 World Cup, followed by New Zealand. New Zealand picking the only slot available to Oceania because we now have 48 teams at the World Cup, and they grabbed the opportunity. They didn't have to go through a playoff, which is why they've not been able to qualify for the World Cup. Then you have the Iranians qualifying as well from Asia, second Asian team to qualify. Then the Albi Celeste of Argentina qualifying, and also topping it up with a 4-1 victory over Brazil. And they did that with some games to spare. Damilola, a minute or two before we leave this, I would have loved to see Nigeria on this list, even though, with 4 games to spare, I wouldn't have thought, but it's good when you are early birds.
There's a reason why you probably will not see Nigeria there, and that's the fact that look at all these countries, Japan, Argentina, at least to some extent New Zealand. When they are playing in their region, within their continent, they play like who they are. They know they are the most talented country in that region, and they play like that.
They show it.
They show it. Even when Argentina is playing Brazil, you dare not tell an Argentine that he will lose. They will fight you because they believe they are better. We don't see that with our own Super Eagles, and that's why we are not there. Kudos to the countries that know what they are, who they are, and where they should be, and they show it when they are playing. I mean, it's unbelievable to think that in Asia, that Japan will not qualify for the World Cup. They might get to the World Cup and not do anything. But qualification, they will get. You can take it for granted that they will qualify. Every other thing can.
And here's an Argentina that had already qualified, took on Brazil, and
before that game they've qualified
and played as if
they are live defended, and there was no Messi.
And it wasn't.
There was no Messi, and they scored 4 goals against Brazil.
And the Inter Milan forward wasn't there.
And Lautaro Martinez didn't play.
So that's what it is. I'm hoping by October somehow, I will be standing here, standing in front of the viewers, looking behind me, looking at the list of the teams qualifying, and I'll be able to say that Nigeria is in there. But anyway, I hope that happens. Austin, quick one, maybe for laughs. Do you think my dream will come true?
Maybe you need to spend 6 months at the mountain, and then you go on dry fasting and all of that, because it's going to be really, really tough. I just want to mention about Japan and their consistency at the World Cup. Remember, they even created an upset, a big upset when they beat Spain. I think they lost to Costa Rica in their first game at the last World Cup in Qatar, and then they beat Spain, and then from there they really got us talking. So teams have used the World Cup as, I think, a framework to say, okay, the way we perform at this World Cup, we go back, look at our football and see ways that we can get better. We weren't at the last World Cup. Did we learn? Did we build? What has changed? You can answer the question. So, but maybe because you're in Nigeria, and I am one too, and we love our football, not just our football, our sports. We love what our sportsmen and women do when they represent the motherland. We can only keep the faith. We can only hope. We can only believe. But I'm just tired of praying. I just want results, me.
All right, let's move on to things that could lift up the spirit. Let's come home now and take a look at domestic football. We'll start with the ladies Nigerian Women Football League match day 9 results. I'll go across just to talk about it. But Lola, quickly, your thoughts on what you've seen, 9 sets of matches all across. Which teams have impressed you?
This is, Edo Queens for me. They are the defending champion. I think they've been very consistent. Remo Stars ladies, they lost their first game of the season last week, but then they bounced back this week. And they are, for me, they are the surprise package. For Edo Queens, for Rivers Angels, for Bayelsa Queens, you probably expect where they are, that they've not lost all season. The real excitement of this league, this is exciting, but the peak of it will be during that Super 6, because the teams that you see going to the Super 6 is really going to give you a tournament that will be, you cannot blink, because once you blink, someone else will take over from you.
All right, let me go across now and reel out the results, and of course, get Austin to give us his thoughts as well. Of course, match day 9 results, we start with Group A. Group A is where we start, and of course, Niger Rattles defeated Adamawa Queens 2-0. Abia Angels lost to Edo Queens, they go to 2. Remo Stars ladies beating Confluence Queens 2-0, and of course, Nasra Amazons eating Danas ladies 3-0. In Group B, Delta Queens lost to Bayelsa Queens by a lone goal. I mean, this game is an advertisement for women's football. Obong Angels also lost to Rivers Angels by a lone goal. Robo Queens hammered, decimated Benue Queens 8-1. Then, of course, Heartland Queens defeated Ekiti Queens by a lone goal. So this is what it looks like after match day 9 results in Group A and Group B. These are the results. So, I mean, before we take some reactions, Austin, let's quickly, share your thoughts with us on what you have seen. Damilola is already licking his lips at how interesting the Super 6 will be with what we are already seeing now. 5 sets of matches to go, but it's hotting up.
Yeah, it's really going to be competitive because right after the break, the league showed us that, they are ready to compete. And if you see the way the table is at the moment, you can tell the best of the best team want to get it done. Like if you take a look at this match day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away wins. 5 away wins. Yes, you can say that the teams expected to win got the results, but it's just a clear testament that the women's game in Nigeria is really competitive, and that's why we want corporate Nigeria. We want investors to get into the league and support the women. Shout out to Remo Stars and what they are doing for men's football and for the ladies. I like what Dana's ladies seem to be doing also. They didn't win against Nasarawa Amazons, but by the time we get to see more teams come into the league, show that, yes, they can compete and get us talking, then it's really, really good for the league. Teams that really needed to win, and they won. They went away from home. Rivers United defeated Obong Angels away from home. Bayelsa Queens, Bayelsa Rivers Angels defeated Obong Angels away from home. Bayelsa Queens getting that vital result at Delta Queens, away win, which is very important for them. And you see that put them where they needed to be on that Group B table. Then you see FC Robo Queens saying, we cannot be far away from the Super 6 for long, and they gave us that volleyball result against Benue Queens, 8-1. That one ended. And a very important result also for Edo Queens, going away to beat Abia Angels by 2-1. So you see, those teams that really needed to win to get us talking, they did, and that's why I said it's really going to be competitive with the Super 6. The temperature is changing. Edo Queens lead the Group A table. Well, look at Remo Stars ladies just behind them, and it's just 1 point that separates both of them. Edo Queens on 23, Remo Stars ladies on 22, National Amazons on 18 points. Go to Group B and see how competitive it is. Bayelsa Queens lead the table, with 23 points, but Rivers Angels is just behind them with 23 points. So it's just goal difference, that is, putting them up there. So any team from the top 3 teams of the different groups, if you are not winning, then there's a big problem. Niger Rattles at the moment in the Group B table is ahead of FC Robo Queens. So it'll be good to see if Niger Rattles can, hold up the pressure and get to the Super 6. I mean, interesting times with the Nigerian Women's Football League.
All right. Interesting times ahead. Well, behind me, Austin has already referenced it, but just quickly go through it. In Group A, this is what it looks like. Edo Queens on top, Remo Stars ladies, Nazareth Amazons. That top 3 position, that will hand you a place in the Super 6. That 8th position, you don't want your team to be because they might be going down. That is currently occupied by Confluence Queens. But then again, we look at the points. A lot can still happen. Abia Angels, Ekiti Queens, Heartland Queens, Danas Ladies, all coming from the rear. We'll see what happens. Let's flip quickly and go to Group B, shall we? In Group B, you have Bayelsa Queens right there on top, followed by Rivers Angels, the same points, but of course Bayelsa Queens on top because of goal difference. And of course Niger Rattles currently occupying that 3rd position. But out on their heels, like Austin said, is FC Robo Queens, Delta Queens in the 5th position. But of course, you know, with the remaining matches, they probably won't remain in that position. Ibom Angels, Adamawa Queens are also making it up. And of course, Benue Queens in that position. You don't want your team to be. Let's quickly take some reactions. You already saw one of the matches. Let's take some reactions from the game between Abia Angels and Edo Queens. We'll do that. We'll come back for more. Sports Tonight.
The turf is bad. It not allow us to have our type of football. So it became difficult for my guys. Why the Abia guys are used to this kind of turf. So I think from my experience from the CAF Champions League, if we are contesting to win the CAF Champions League, we must do something about our turf. Our turf must be good because when you leave this shore, where you are going to play is on a very good pitch. So the port of it, but how be it? My guys managed to play. We got our chances, we took them, and we won the game. The intention is to qualify the team for the Super 6 first, try to win again, because the most difficult part in going through is winning our league. Our league is very tough. The Abia guys, you can see the force, if not for my goalkeeper that saved us towards the end of the game. The Abia guys were pushing for a equalizer. But honestly, my plan is to return back to the Champions League, but one game at a time.
All right, of course, the Edo Queens coach sharing his thoughts after his team were able to get a win in the Nigeria Women's Football League. All right, let's move on now and talk about the guys. And of course, that's what we're going to do till we wrap things up on the show. We're going to quickly discuss matches played yesterday and today. Let me quickly run through the results. El Kanemi Warriors matches played today. Of course, El Kanemi Warriors played a 2-2 draw with Shooting Stars as 3LC. Aqua United kept the promise today, defeated Niger Tornadoes 2-0. Rangers International lost, I didn't see this happening, lost to Plateau United by a long goal. And Remo Stars, yes, what you would expect to see, consolidating that top spot with a game to spare. Defeating the Aba Elephants Enyimba 2-0. Then, of course, matches were played yesterday. Let's quickly look at it. Abia Warriors defeated Lobby Stars 2-0. Bayelsa United had a slim 1-0 victory over Rivers United. Kano Pillars and Bedell Insurance was a share of the spoils. They settled for a goalless draw. Then you have Kora United defeating Naswa United by a long goal. Then, of course, the Akure Gunners, Sunshine Stars, played a goalless draw with the Naze Millionaires. Heartland, it was goalless in that game. Damlola, let's quickly talk about it. Remo Stars, should we just crown them?
I think they are costing them. It will be difficult for anybody to take it off from them. I think they've done the job. They've amassed the point when they needed to. They're at a point where they can even afford 1 or 2 slips here and there, and then you still think that they are comfortable enough. I think the real task in this league now is who is going to pick the second Champions League spot. And that's where the real contest is. Rivers United will have something to say. There is a Shooting Stars that's, at least today they get a decent result. Going all the way to Maiduguri and getting 2-2 is not a bad result. So for me, the league title is done.
Don't see a collapse.
I'll be too shocked if that happens.
Okay.
Probably the shock will be heavier than that of the Super Eagles against Zimbabwe.
All right. Rangers losing at home didn't come to you as a surprise?
I said it here about 2 weeks ago that Rangers have been one of the poorest title defense that you've seen in the Nigerian league in recent time. I was expecting so much from them. I expected that even if they are not going to retain the title, they shouldn't go beyond below the third position about this time in the season. But I don't think they are giving the kind of fight I expected. A bit disappointing, but the Nigerian league is quite tough. It's quite tough. A lot of things come in, and that's why we've not seen teams being able to defend the title. On one side, that might be good, but on the other side, it's not the best because every year we have this turnover of different teams going on the continent, and you are not able to leverage on the experience of the previous.
A lot of factors involved in that one: planning, fatigue, a lot of issues. Time will not allow us to go into all of that. On one side, it's good, but on the other side, sometimes it means you're not producing worthy champions. You win this season, and next season you're climbing down. I mean, you're sliding down. That's the right word to use. I mean, also let me come to you. Any surprises? Do you agree that we should just? The other time we spoke, you said no, we shouldn't crown Remo Stars yet, but Damilola says they are coasting home, and with 7 more matches to be played, it's hard to bet against them.
It is hard, but let them lose 6 and then you will understand that it's not that hard, you know. But I know they won't, particularly in Ikene, they are a force. They are unstoppable at the moment. I think they're close to 19 wins now this season, you know. And each time they play, look, Coach Daniel has done something to that team. We should say kudos to him. The determination, the resilience, the coordination they have as a team against Eimba, they were so organized, they were so coordinated, and that was what did it for them, 2-0 clean clear, you know. And the other game that really got me talking was Plateau United going to Rangers to win. So it means this season, Rangers, they've lost 5 times at the Cathedral, which is not so good for them. And I said that if you look at the teams that are around that relegation zone, it's very difficult to play them at the moment, you know. So Remo Stars, they are staying focused. They are not looking at what's happening with the other teams, particularly Rivers United. Now, with that loss, Rangers, they've dropped out of the top 4. It doesn't concern Remo. They just want to keep doing. Don't forget that they have a game at hand because they didn't play that match day 30 game against Lobby Stars. It was postponed. So they still have 1 game. And if they win that one, they will go back. They will restore their 11-point lead at the top. It's 8 at the moment. Yes, I agree with Damilola. That was very difficult, you know, for any team to catch up, but they must avoid the sleep. Let's take talking points from the game between Abia Warriors. That's a team that no one is talking about, but they are doing so well. And at the moment, I think as a match the 30, Abia Warriors, they were in the top 3. Now they're in the top 4 because Rivers United, they're in the top 3. Now they are 3rd on the log. And by virtue of this win today against Lobby Stars, Coach Imama's team, they show that, look, you need to honor them at your own peril. Let's take reactions right after that game against Lobby Stars.
When you play against teams like sometimes players can be complacent, you know, and I kept on hammering it into the team that we shouldn't take them for granted because they haven't got anything to lose. A drowning man who's going to hold, even if it's a cellophane, you know, they want to hold anything possible. So kudos to the players. They were able to come strong, 2-0 for us, and I think we'll keep pushing. We have 7 games now. Like I said, you know, in the beginning of this second round, we have 3 stages. You know, this ends our 2nd stage, and we are going to be facing the last 7 games, which is 21 points. I don't know where it's going to lead us to. But I believe that, you know, I keep telling my players, run as fast as you possibly can. Don't look over your shoulders. Just keep focused and just run to the tip. And let us see where the 7 games will take us to. But I believe that with the mentality of the team now, let us see what happens at the end of the season.
Let's wait to see what happens. But shout out to Abia Warriors and Coach Imama. 3 straight wins now. And it looks so good for them, Damilola, because Abia Warriors, who would have thought?
Austin, really, I'm one of those that are quite surprised. I was even surprised when he returned because his first attempt at Abia Warriors didn't really turn out well. But kudos to we all know what Imama can do, and I'm happy for him that at least there is a revival of what he can do at Abia Warriors.
All right, that's a good place to let it land. We've crossed the finish line. As you can see behind me, you have the top 4 and the bottom 4. Unfortunately, we can't really look at it at length, but I mean, just for you to see top 4 and the bottom 4. Austin, of course, we have to go. Our time is up.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't look at the table, but I saw it. I saw the bottom for Yemi. Aqua United is not there again. I told you that, look, we're not going to go down. The promise keepers, unbeaten in their last 5. Defeated Kwara United, they win from home on match day 30, and then they won today again, match day 31, important win. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, it's a wrap here in Lagos as well. But first, I want to thank Damilolo Onifadi for his time on the show.
It's a pleasure being here.
Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
God willing.
All right, that's the show today. We do hope you've enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.